That feeling the moment your eyes open. Before your feet even touch the floor, you know. There's a stiffness in your fingers, a rust-like rigidity that makes closing your hand into a fist a slow, painful process. Your knees and ankles feel locked, as if they've seized up overnight. That first step out of bed isn't a step at all, it's a test. A hesitant, painful negotiation with your own body, just to see what will work today. Then comes the fog. You walk into the kitchen, stand in the middle of the room, and the reason you came evaporates. It's like a thick cloud has settled inside your head, stealing simple words and familiar names, leaving you grasping for a thought that was there just a second ago. It's a quiet, frustrating battle that chips away at your confidence with every passing day. This isn't just being tired, it's a deep, leaden fatigue that lives in your bones. It's the feeling that your own body is a weight you have to carry. Climbing a single flight of stairs leaves your heart pounding and your legs burning, as if you're carrying a heavy suitcase. Your energy for the day feels spent before your morning coffee is even finished. You watch the world move on and you feel left behind, trapped in a body that no longer feels like your own. Listen to me very carefully. If any of this sounds familiar, I need you to understand one thing. It is not your fault, and it is not just a part of getting older. This is a biological process, a silent enemy that has been operating unchecked, and you can fight back. I'm a doctor, and I've dedicated the last 2 decades of my life to one mission: helping people over 60 thrive, not just survive. I don't focus on masking symptoms. I focus on rebuilding the very foundation of your health from the cellular level up, restoring the vitality you thought was gone for good. Now, what if I told you that turning this around doesn't start in a doctor's office or at the pharmacy? What if the first step to reclaiming your energy, clearing that fog, and soothing those joints begins with a simple 30-second change you can make to your breakfast tomorrow morning? A change so simple yet so powerful that it begins to flip the off switch on the very inflammation that is causing this stiffness and fatigue. This is not a guess, it is science. And in this video, I am going to walk you through 3 of the most common mistakes that are silently stealing your vitality, and I will give you the precise, science-backed routine to fix them. But before we go any further, I need you to make a commitment, not to me, but to yourself. Commit to your health right now by clicking that red subscribe button so you don't miss a single step of this life-changing protocol. Press the like button if you are truly ready to feel relief. And finally, take the first step on this journey with me. In the comments below, tell me which symptom bothers you the most right now. Is it the joint stiffness, the brain fog, or that deep, draining fatigue? Acknowledging it is the first step to defeating it. Do it now. We have important work to do. You see, the promise I made, that a 30-second change to your breakfast could begin to turn all of this around, might sound too good to be true. But it's possible, because we are not fighting a vague enemy called getting older. We are targeting a specific known biological process. A process that scientists call chronic low-grade inflammation, or a more fitting name, inflammaging. This is the invisible culprit behind that stiffness, that fog, and that bone-deep fatigue you feel. Think of your immune system as your body's internal security team. When you're younger, it's sharp and disciplined. It reacts to threats like a cut or an infection, deals with them, and then stands down. But as we age, this system can become dysregulated. It's as if the security team forgets to go off duty. It starts to continuously release small amounts of inflammatory substances, like molecules called cytokines, specifically IL-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha. These are the tiny troublemakers circulating through your body 24/7, causing silent damage. When these inflammatory molecules reach your joints, they act like a fine grit sandpaper on your precious cartilage. They slowly, relentlessly grind it down, day after day, night after night. That is the rust you feel in your fingers and knees each morning. That is the stiffness that makes that first step out of bed a painful negotiation. It is not in your head. It is a physical process of degradation happening right now. And it doesn't stop in your joints. These tiny molecules are small enough to cross the protective blood-brain barrier, the gatekeeper to your mind. Once inside, they interfere with the delicate communication between your neurons, like static on a phone line. This disruption, this static, is the very source of that frustrating brain fog. It's the reason a familiar name is suddenly on the tip of your tongue, but won't come out. It's a chemical interference, not a personal failing. Finally, these cytokines attack the very source of your energy, the microscopic power plants inside every one of your cells, known as the mitochondria. They damage these power plants, crippling their ability to produce the energy your body needs to function. This is why you feel that profound, leaden fatigue that no amount of sleep can seem to fix. Your body is quite literally running on a low battery because its power plants are under constant low-grade assault. Let me give you an analogy to make this perfectly clear. Imagine your body is a house. Acute inflammation, like when you get a cut, is the fire alarm. It blares loud and clear. It attracts the firefighters, your immune cells. And once the problem is fixed, the alarm shuts off. It's a healthy, effective, and temporary response. It saves the house. But inflammaging, this chronic inflammation, is entirely different. It's like a smoke detector with a low battery hidden somewhere in a wall. It just chirps. A quiet, irritating chirp, every few minutes, non-stop, day and night. The sound isn't loud enough to make you call the fire department, but over months and years, that constant, low-level alarm signal starts to cause serious, systemic damage. That incessant chirping wears down your peace of mind. Those are your cells under stress. It slowly begins to rust the very framework of the house. That is what you feel as stiffness in your joints, and it causes short circuits in the home's electrical wiring. That is the brain fog clouding your thoughts. The most important thing I can tell you today is this. You do not have to live with the chirping. You can find that smoke detector, and you can change the battery. And that is exactly what we are going to learn how to do, starting right now with the first and most common mistake. So let's begin with the very first mistake. One that is so common because it feels like the logical thing to do. You wake up, your joints feel like rusted hinges, and your instinct tells you to stay still, to not provoke the pain. This, right here, is mistake number 1. Morning sedentarism. It's the belief that rest will resolve the stiffness. But you are unintentionally creating a vicious cycle. That stiffness isn't a signal to stop. It's a cry for a specific kind of gentle movement. Here is the scientific reason why. Overnight, as you lie still, gravity does its work. Blood and lymphatic fluid, the body's waste disposal system, pool in your lower legs. This pooling contributes to that swollen, locked-up feeling in your ankles and knees. At the same time, the natural lubricating fluid in your joints, called synovial fluid, becomes thick and stagnant. Your joints are literally drying out overnight. By staying still, you are allowing that rust to set in even deeper. The fix for this begins before your feet even touch the floor. It's a simple, powerful movement I call the conscious muscle pump. While you are still sitting on the edge of your bed, place your feet flat on the floor. Now, listen carefully. Keep your heels planted and lift your toes up towards the ceiling as high as you can. You should feel a gentle stretch in your shins. Hold it for 2 seconds. Now, reverse the motion. Keep the balls of your feet on the floor and lift your heels, squeezing your calf muscles hard as if you're trying to stand on your tiptoes. Hold that squeeze for 2 seconds. Do this 20 times, 10 for each foot, or 20 with both at the same time. This is not just random movement. With every single repetition, you are forcing your calf muscles, your body's second heart, to squeeze the deep veins in your legs. You are physically pumping that old, stagnant fluid out of your lower limbs and back towards your heart. At the same time, you are forcing fresh, warm synovial fluid, your body's natural lubricating oil, back into the joint capsules of your ankles and knees. You are literally greasing the hinges before you ask them to bear your weight. This is the first win of your day. Now that you've lubricated your joints and are standing with less pain, you walk to the kitchen. And here is where you can make mistake number 2, the breakfast that inflames. That piece of white toast with jam, that seemingly harmless bagel, or that bowl of sugary cereal. You might think it's giving you energy, but it is doing the exact opposite. It's like pouring gasoline on the smoldering fire of inflammaging. These refined carbohydrates cause a massive spike in your blood sugar and insulin, which is a direct command for your body to produce more of those inflammatory cytokines, IL-6 and TNF-alpha. You are literally feeding the very inflammation that causes the stiffness and fog you just worked to alleviate. But the fix is so simple, it will take you less than 30 seconds. This is the promise I made at the beginning. You are going to add 2 things to your first meal. First, 1/2 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon. It must be Ceylon, not the common cassia variety, which contains high levels of a compound called coumarin that can be harmful in large doses. Second, 1 tablespoon of high-quality extra virgin olive oil. Here is the science behind this 30-second change. The active compound in cinnamon, cinnamaldehyde, works by inhibiting something called the NF-kappa B pathway. Think of this as the master switch for inflammation in your body. Cinnamon helps flip that switch to the off position. Meanwhile, the oleocanthal in extra virgin olive oil is a natural anti-inflammatory that works in a way remarkably similar to ibuprofen by inhibiting the KOX1 and KOX2 enzymes, but without the harsh side effects on your stomach. So, how do you use them? It's simple. Sprinkle that 1/2 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon over a bowl of berries and yogurt, or even stir it into your morning coffee. Drizzle that tablespoon of olive oil over your eggs or on a slice of avocado. Instead of butter or margarine on a piece of whole grain toast, use this liquid gold. You are not just eating breakfast, you are arming your body with the tools it needs to extinguish the inflammatory fire from the inside out, starting with your very first bite of the day. Now for the third mistake, which is not about what you do, but about what you feel. It's the isolation that sickens. It's the quiet worry that churns in your mind, the rumination about your health, your future, your family. This isn't just an emotional state, it's a physiological one. This constant mental stress chronically raises your levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. And cortisol is a primary fuel for inflammaging. It keeps that internal smoke alarm chirping, day and night, wearing your system down. The fix is a simple, two-part evening ritual designed to lower cortisol and calm your nervous system. First, you will brew 1 cup of lemon balm tea. This isn't just any herbal tea. Lemon balm is rich in a compound called rosmarinic acid. This compound works in your brain by increasing levels of GABA, your primary calming neurotransmitter. It does this by blocking the enzyme that breaks GABA down. More GABA means less anxiety, less mental chatter, and a mind prepared for deep, restorative sleep. The second part of the ritual happens while you sip your tea. Take a simple notebook and a pen and write 1 single sentence. Your task is to write a 1-sentence gratitude journal. You must write down one specific thing you were grateful for that day. For example, I am grateful for the warmth of the sun I felt on my face during my walk today. The act of searching for the positive, and then the physical act of writing it down, interrupts the cycle of worry. It activates the parts of your brain responsible for emotional regulation and has been scientifically shown to lower cortisol levels. Now, before we put this all together into a daily routine, I must stop and give you a critical warning. This is a mistake that millions of people make, often with the very best intentions, and it could be silently sabotaging your health. Many of you have been told, or have decided on your own, to take calcium supplements to protect your bones and prevent osteoporosis. Please, listen to me very carefully. Taking calcium by itself can be one of the most dangerous things you do for your cardiovascular health. Think of it this way. Taking calcium without its essential cofactors is like ordering a truck to dump a load of fresh cement on a construction site, but with no workers there to direct it. Where does the cement go? It hardens wherever it lands. When you take calcium alone, it doesn't know how to get into your bones, so it ends up hardening in places it shouldn't, in your arteries, causing them to become stiff and calcified, in your joints, contributing to arthritis pain, and in your kidneys, forming painful stones. The workers that calcium needs are vitamin K2, specifically in the form called MK7, and magnesium. Vitamin K2 acts as the traffic cop, or the GPS, for calcium. It activates proteins that direct calcium into your bones and teeth where it belongs. And more importantly, it activates another protein that actively removes calcium from your soft tissues, like your arteries and heart valves. Magnesium is the site formin, essential for the proper absorption and metabolism of calcium. Taking calcium alone is not just ineffective. It can actively increase your risk of heart attack and stroke. You must have the entire construction crew, not just the raw material. So, you now understand the enemy, this silent, smoldering fire of inflammaging. You understand the 3 critical mistakes that have been unknowingly fanning its flames, and you have the 3 powerful, science-backed fixes to begin extinguishing it. But knowledge without a plan is just information. What you need now is a blueprint for action, a simple daily ritual that makes this transformation feel effortless, almost automatic. I'm going to give you that blueprint right now. This is how you rebuild your vitality, one day at a time. Your new day begins the moment your eyes open. Before your feet touch the floor, while still sitting on the edge of your bed, you will perform your 20 repetitions of the conscious muscle pump. Feel that deliberate squeeze in your calves. You are telling your body that this day will be different. You are lubricating your joints with your body's own medicine, preparing them for the day ahead. Then, at breakfast, you will make your 30-second change. You will add that half teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon and that tablespoon of golden olive oil. You are not just eating, you are arming your cells with the anti-inflammatory tools they need to win the day. In the afternoon, I want you to schedule what I call an anti-inflammatory break. This is not strenuous exercise. It is a simple, brisk 15-minute walk, preferably outside. Feel the sun on your skin. This is crucial because that sunlight is signaling your body to produce vitamin D, one of the essential workers that helps guide calcium into your bones and away from your arteries. This gentle movement also keeps your joints lubricated and your blood flowing, carrying away inflammatory waste products and delivering fresh oxygen to your cells. It is a moment to reconnect with your body and the world around you. Then, as evening approaches, you will begin your wind-down ritual. This is your time to actively lower your cortisol and prepare your mind and body for deep, restorative healing. You will brew your cup of warm lemon balm tea. As you sip it, you will take out your notebook and perform the most powerful 2-minute mental exercise there is. You will write your 1 sentence of gratitude. This simple act physically rewires your brain to break the cycle of worry. And finally, at least 1 hour before you plan to sleep, you will turn off the screens. The television, the phone, the tablet. Their blue light is the enemy of melatonin, your sleep hormone. Protect it fiercely. You now hold the complete plan in your hands. This is not a list of suggestions. It is a protocol for reclaiming the life you deserve. Wisdom isn't about trying to stop the clock, but learning how to live with more vitality within the time we have. These are not tricks. They are profound acts of responsibility for the precious gift of your health. You do not have to wait weeks or months to feel a difference. I promise you, if you commit to this, within just a few days, you will feel a new warmth in your hands and feet, a subtle lifting of that mental fog. So please do not let this moment pass. Start today. Start tonight with your cup of tea and your single sentence of gratitude. That is your first step. And if you are truly committed to this journey with me, I need you to know that extinguishing inflammation is the critical first step, but rebuilding what has been damaged is the next. In our very next video, I am going to reveal the one specific food you must add to your diet to help your body actively rebuild the cartilage in your joints. It's the piece of the puzzle that completes this picture. Click the notification bell so you don't miss it. Choose life, one conscious step at a time.